Hello students. So in the last class of antenna, we have studied about the introduction to antenna and how a two-wire conductor that act like a dipole, and what is the nature of the source we need to provide or feed to your conductor so that it can radiate. We have already seen. So before I will discuss about how to calculate the gain and other parameter. Let us first study about the coordinate system that we are going to use in your antenna subject. So generally you have studied about the Cartesian coordinate system, that is, suppose this is x and this is y and this is z. So z is out of the board, that is coming towards you. So I have shown here because this blackboard is your 2D plane, and in order to show your 3 dimensional, so I have to shown like this, but this z is coming towards you or going into the board. So but in antenna we will measure everything in terms of your sphere. So suppose this is your sphere. Sphere is also a 3-dimensional object. Just I am showing here the outer surface only, that looks like a circle, but it will actually a 3-dimensional object. Then how to measure this? So from center to any point, suppose this is point P, so this length is your radius. So R is nothing but distance measured from the center of the sphere or origin, distance measured from the origin of the sphere. Origin or center. So from center to any point the distance is r, and that is known as your radius of the sphere. And then the angle, this is known as your theta. This r value ranging from, because radius cannot be negative, so r value can be 0 to infinity. So then we have theta. Theta is your elevation angle. Theta is your elevation angle. Elevation angle means that is measured from your vertical axis. That is measured from your vertical axis. So let me show here. This is your x, this is y, and this is z. So always you have to take the right side, anti-clockwise rule, x, y, and z. So theta is the elevation angle. Elevation angle. So theta is the elevation angle that is measured vertically, or that's why this is also known as your vertical angle. Vertical angle. So you can imagine. So vertical angle means the maximum angle with which it will travel, that is from 0 to pi. So up to this is, so it can create angle of 0 to pi. So that's why the vertical angle we can measure. So theta is varying from the range of the theta is 0 to pi. This is also known as your elevation angle or vertical angle. Then we will have phi. Phi means your azimuthal angle or horizontal angle. This is known as your azimuthal angle or horizontal angle, and this can be shown here. This will form a circle. So I can show here like this, but it will form like this. So that's why this is known as your horizontal angle. So phi range is obviously from 0 to 2 pi. So this thing you should remember. In antenna we will use this coordinate system, and this coordinate system is known as your spherical coordinate system. Spherical coordinate. So if you want to measure the field strength, that is your electric field strength, magnetic field strength, then we will see. I will directly write the value of the electric field at a certain point. That value must carry this parameter r, theta and phi. That I will write in the terms of r, theta and phi. So r is, once again I am going to explain you, r is the distance from the origin, or center of the sphere. From the center of the sphere we can go any side. That distance is known as your radius of the sphere. Theta is the vertical angle or elevation angle. That value is varying from 0 to pi, and phi is known as your azimuthal angle or horizontal angle. So you can imagine suppose this is your earth. So you can see this is suppose your center of the earth, and this distance is known as your radius. This angle is known as your elevation angle, that is varying from 0 to pi, and again you can see here just like this. So this is known as your phi. So that is varying from phi always form a circle on a sphere. Phi always form a circle on a sphere, that is horizontal angle. So this angle varies from phi is varying from 0 to 2 pi. This theta is varying from 0 to pi. This side also you can 0 to pi, and this is your phi. This is your phi, and this is your. So you can imagine a globe. So where you can see like this. So this angle is known as your, this is your vertical angle, that is varying from 0 to pi, and this is your horizontal angle. Horizontal angle always form a circle, that's why this is varying from 0 to 2 pi. Your circle is varying from 0 to 2 pi, and r is the radius of the sphere. So let me explain you. Then we will see some important terminology. So first we will see the radiation pattern. I am going to prove this radiation pattern mathematically, but in this lecture we will study about, we will plot the radiation pattern directly and study few terminology. But at the in the next lecture I will show you how this radiation pattern, we will draw a radiation pattern of an antenna. So first of all, radiation means how the electromagnetic waves are spreading out from your antenna. How the electromagnetic waves are spreading out from your antenna. That is, antenna, why antenna you are using? You are using antenna to convert its voltage and current to electromagnetic waves. And these electromagnetic waves, how it detach from your antenna and travels along the space, that we will study in this pattern. That we will analyze mathematically how radiation will happen, and some more terminology with respect to this radiation pattern. So first of all, this is your isotropic antenna. Isotropic means it is a ideal antenna. This type of antenna doesn't exist practically. This, what is the significance of this antenna? Why we are going to study about this antenna? Because this antenna we are going to take into account for reference purpose. For example, in electric circuit, when you measure a potential, of a point, we must measure with respect to a ground. Like this. Suppose this is a resistor. Then how to measure potential? So potential will be measured. For this point, we measure potential with respect to a ground. So ground here in electric circuit is the reference. In antenna, this isotropic antenna is the reference for measuring any practical antenna, its directional capability we are going to measure with respect to this isotropic antenna. Isotropic antenna doesn't exist, it's a theoretical antenna. It's not a practical antenna, it's a theoretical antenna. What it says, what is the peculiarity of this ideal antenna? Its isotropic antenna radiates equally in all directions. It radiates equally in all directions. That is, the spreading of electromagnetic waves. For example, imagine that I am the isotropic antenna, then the radiation will be equally in this direction, and from the back side of the board it's spreading out equally in all directions, and that spreading out of electromagnetic waves, its radiation pattern will be a sphere. That is looks like a sphere. This spreading out will looks like a, because it is radiating in all the direction equally, that's why it looks like a sphere. So remember, isotropic antenna, always we are going to use it as a reference antenna. It's not a practical antenna, and its radiation pattern in your objective type question, they will ask you what is the radiation pattern of isotropic antenna. The radiation pattern of isotropic antenna is a sphere, that is spherical in shape. Just now we have studied a sphere. Any distance from the sphere, its center, from the center of the sphere is known as radius. That is, sphere is equally designed, equally its distance from origin is equal, so its radiation pattern will be just like a sphere. So so this is your isotropic antenna or a theoretical antenna. Next we will study about the directional antenna and your practical antenna. All your practical antenna going to radiates in this pattern only, that we will see here. So then we will study about directional antenna. Directional antenna. So in directional antenna, let me draw the diagram, then I will. So you can see here, I have plotted the radiation pattern of a practical antenna. That any practical antenna, it is also known as a directional antenna. Directional antenna means the radiation is unequal in all the direction. Radiation is unequal. Just like your in isotropic antenna, what will happen? Radiation is equal in all the direction. But in directional antenna, if in a particular antenna, the power level will be high. For example, in a particular direction, for example, in X direction, the power is high. Here I have plotted here like X, Y, and Z. You can see here in the Z direction, this radiation is high. That means if you measure the power in the Z direction, your power meter shows highest the signal strength will be high in this Z direction, and this radiation, the highest power direction, is known as your major lobe. This radiation is known as your major lobe. In all other direction, we can see here the lobe is very small as compared to this major lobe. That means this antenna radiates in the Z direction. We can similarly take a particular antenna where the radiation will be in the Y direction, or a particular antenna where the radiation will be in the X direction. And the remaining other loops is known as your minor loop, and this minor loop is of two types, that is your side loop and your back loop. So always as an engineer, we have to design a directional antenna in such a way that the major loop will be maximum, and we always try to minimize this side loop so that the backward power should be minimum. Otherwise what will happen? This power going to interfere with other antenna signal. This power which is spreading out from this antenna will interfere with the other antennas radiation, So we can see here, we can see the tower, that is mobile tower, your BTS, base transceiver, where the antenna, where the tower is installed in a particular way, so that no antenna radiation interfere with each other, so the target should be this major loop should be maximum. We should try to maximize this major loop radiation and should try to minimize this minor loop radiation. So this is known as your directional antenna. So directional antenna radiates in a particular direction. So this type of antenna is all your practical antenna. That is maybe your Yagi-Uda antenna, horn antenna, parabolic reflector, dish antenna. They all radiates in a particular direction. They all radiates in a particular direction. So, so this is known as your major lobe, and the remaining lobe is known as your side lobe or minor lobe. Minor lobes, the minor lobes classified again into two types. This is known as your side lobe. We can see from the figure, and exactly opposite the lobe will form is known as your back lobe. Back lobe. So the next we will see some other parameter. So then we will study about the few parameter of this radiation pattern. So you can see here, I have already explained you, this is your major lobe and this is your side lobe. This is your major lobe and this is your side lobe or minor lobes. This can be treated as minor lobe. So for example, we measure the power, and the power is maximum at this point. Power is maximum at this point. We should draw the line in such a way that if this power is 1 by 2, that is half of the maximum power, half of the maximum power, then in both the sides we can find such point. Here we can find a point and here we can find a point. And this angular width of where the power is half in major lobe, the angular width where the power is half is known as your half power beam width. Is known as your half power beam width. Half power beam width. So this angular region is known as beam width. The terminology you should remember, this width is known as your beam width, this width is known as your beam width, and where the power is half, that's why this is known as half power beam width. So here the definition I have written, it is a angular width of major loop from maximum to 3 decibel. 3 dB means where the power is half, power half means 3 decibel less in dB, dB means in decibel, 3 dB less, that is your half power down to maximum to 3 dB or half power down. So it is a angular width of major loop from maximum to half power down, half power down. So we are measuring from maximum to half power down where the power is half, and the width of, because it is actually not a 2-dimensional geometry, it is a 3D plot. So here the angular width is known as your beam width, and exactly at this beam width the power is half, that's why this is known as your half power beam width. Half power beam width. The maximum power is here and this angular width is known as your half power beam width. Then the total width we can draw here. Suppose this is your radiation pattern. So you draw a line at an angle of 45 degree. You can find in the both the side, and this total angle you can see here, this total angle is nothing but your lobe angle, major lobe angle, and where here we can see this is the surface where the power is 0, where the power is 0. Here we can read some power, but beyond this limit there is no radiation, that's why the power is slightly beyond this region, we will have no power radiation. So the angular distance between these two no power radiation area, the minimum power radiation area is known as your full null beam width. That is known as your full null. Full null means we have where the power is, radiation power is very minimum, radiation power is minimum, and this angular width is known as your full null beam width. So it is the width, it is the width total angular, it is the total angular width of major loop. It is the total angular width of major loop. It is the total angular width of major loop. So total angular width, if somebody asks you, that is known as your full null beam width. Full null beam width gives you the total angular width of your major loop. How your electromagnetic, how much your electromagnetic is spreading, that is how much angle it is covering. You can see here how much angle it is covering. Suppose this is the antenna and it is spreading like this. So how much angle it is covering, the total angular width is given by your full null beam width, and this half power radiation area is known as your half power beam width. So angular width here is known as your beam width. So next we will see the radiation power density. Let me explain you. So the next analogy is your radiation density and radiated power. Radiation density and radiated power. That is how to calculate how much power is radiated from your antenna. How to calculate mathematically how much power is radiated from your antenna. So when electromagnetic wave travel in space, the power density of radiation by antenna is related to electric and magnetic field. Here, because the electromagnetic will travel, radiation means your traveling of electromagnetic wave or propagation of your electromagnetic wave. So as I have already explained you how to calculate power density when electric field and magnetic field is given in your basic class of electricity, introduction to electricity and magnetism. There I have already explained you how to calculate if electric field and magnetic field is given, then how to calculate its power, how to calculate its power. So that is given by Poynting. Poynting is a scientist who gave you the relationship between the electric field, magnetic field and power density. So this Poynting vector, this is known as your Poynting vector and it is denoted by W. W is nothing but E cross H, because this is E is also a vector quantity and H is also a vector quantity. Electric field is a vector quantity and magnetic field is a vector quantity. So the cross product will always give you the density of power. That means obviously this density of power is having some direction, and what is the direction? If you A cross B, then that result obviously in vector theory you have already studied about. Vector multiplication is of two types, या तो क्रॉस प्रोडक्ट होगा और डॉट प्रोडक्ट. So in cross product will result a vector, and that vector direction of this vector is perpendicular to both A and B. Direction of this vector is perpendicular to both A and B. So if you multiply two vector in dot product, that result a scalar quantity. This has only magnitude, no direction. So vector multiplication is a two type, cross product and dot product. Cross product always give you a vector, and this direction of this vector, suppose this magnitude is C, but the direction is perpendicular to both A and B. Similarly here, what is the direction of your electromagnetic power? That is perpendicular to both electric and magnetic field. For example, electric field direction is X and magnetic field direction is Y. Then the density of power is traveling, the radiation is traveling in Z direction. Then this is then what is the unit of this? Unit means electric field unit is volt per meter, magnetic field unit is ampere per meter. So volt into ampere by meter. Volt into ampere, that is V into I, that always gives you power, and unit of power is watt. So watt per meter square. But we need only average power. Why average power? Because this is a complex quantity. This can be a complex quantity. So complex in a total power is known as your complex power, where we have a active power and reactive power. But the useful power is your average power only. But the useful power is your average power only. So that's why I have taken half times of real part of E cross H star. H star means H conjugate. Then how to calculate this average radiated power? You can see here, this is your average radiation density. So how to calculate this average radiated power? So you need to do the surface integral. You need to do the surface integral. In vector theory, we have studied about the surface integral. So surface integral of W average dot ds vector. So that surface integral is going to give you the average power radiated by the antenna. The unit of this will going to give you watt. Here we have watt per meter square. So this is the concept of radiation density and radiated power. So how much power is radiated at a particular point? You will always get the power density, that is power per unit area, and you have to integrate over that area in order to get your radiated power. So always first, suppose this is your antenna. Suppose this is your antenna, and I need to calculate what is the power radiated in this direction at this point, in this direction at this point. Suppose so. Here we will always find the power radiated by area. Area means here this point. Always you consider a sphere, your spherical area. So power radiated per unit area will, that is known as your radiation density. Radiation density means power radiated per unit area, and you need to integrate surface integration of this average power or radiation density over the surface is known as your radiated power, average radiated power. So these are the few terminology. In your 2 marks question they will ask you define radiation density. So radiation density you have to write like this: electromagnetic wave travel in space, the power density of radiation by antenna is related to electric field and magnetic field is given by Poynting vector, that is E cross H. Then this radiation density is equal to half times of real part, this RE means real part of E cross H conjugate star. Your imaginary part is not your useful power, that's why we will take your real power. A real part is your average power, real part is your average power or active power. You have already studied in network theory: active power, reactive power, complex power, apparent power. So this is known as your radiation density and how it is related to radiated power. So in the next class we will study about the few more terminology, then we will see how this radiation pattern is formed. Just like I have drawn a major loop, minor loop, how this radiation pattern is formed, that I will show you. Then we will study some practical antenna. So thank you.